Edishu in the household, Karmashu duties. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Therefore, please accept her, O chief of the Brahmanas, for I offer her with faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife, and take charge of your household duties. The words Grihamedishu Karmashu mean in household duties. Another word is also used here, Sarvatmana Anurupam. The purport is that a wife should not only be equal to her husband in age, character, and qualities, but must be helpful to him in his household duties. The household duty of a man is not to satisfy his sense gratification, but to remain with a wife and children and at the same time attain advancement in spiritual life. One who does not do so is not a householder, but a Grihamedi. Two words are used in Sanskrit literature. One is Grihastha and the other is Grihamedi. The difference between Grihamedi and Grihastha is that Grihastha is also an asrama or spiritual order. But if one simply satisfies his senses as a householder, then he is a Grihamedi. For a Grihamedi, who to accept a wife means to satisfy the senses. But for a Grihastha, a qualified wife is an assistant in every respect for advancement in spiritual activities. It is the duty of the wife to take charge of household affairs and not to compete with the husband. A wife is meant to help, but she cannot help her husband unless he is completely equal to her in age, character, and quality. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupagadha Bahyam Dadadi Subhadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidastu Ma Viddushavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining today. It's very auspicious hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we were going through this chapter, which is titled as The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahudi. It's one of the very beautiful chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially this canto. Mainly describes the teachings of Lord Kapila, and these are the pretext, the context of how that culminates to the teachings of Lord Kapila, or the appearance of the Lord, the Supreme Lord himself, or the son of Mother Devahudi and Kardama. And this also describes the ideal way and how one can lead a beautiful, ideal grihastha life. And also what a person is supposed to do in the grihastha life. It's very beautiful in that context. And here, this is the pretext of how that the Kabila Deva appearing, and before that, how the marriage of between Mother Devahudi and Kardama happened. So here we can see that Swayambhu Manu, the son of Brahma, had 3 daughters, Agudi, Devahudi, and Prasudi, and 2 sons, Upanapada and Priyambrada. And when the Devahudi is appropriate, became the age to get married, Swayambhu Manu was looking for a suitable husband for her. So this time, Kardamuni, by the instructions of Lord Brahma, Kardamuni was the son of Brahma, by the instructions of Brahma to take up the service of, create the progenies, Kardamuni went to the forest in order to purify before getting to that ashram. Those are very great lessons for all of us, that how one should prepare to get married. He should completely prepared in terms of his body, mind, and his consciousness. And that's what is exactly mentioned in our scriptures as well. It's not that life is not just a silly thing. It's a very serious thing. Even each asrama, our life is also divided into each asrama. There is brahmacharyam, there is garhasthyam, there is vanaprastham and sannyasam. This all dovetail or leads to one point, that in all situations, one has to Krishna conscious. He has to always engage into the spiritual activities, so that he can attain the Supreme Lord. So that's the essence of our existence. So, but we contaminated with so many things, so we have to purify. So we can purify our existence in each stages of our life. So Kardama Muni is a great personality, and went into the forest and took this penance for thousands of years, and then Lord appeared before Kardama Muni, seeing the penance and the purity of the heart. Lord appeared before Kardama Muni and instructed that Swayambhu Manu will arrive. You and their daughter Devahudi is a very suitable match for you. Please accept. And this is where the Lord departed after that. Then Swayambhu Manu then appeared before Kardama Muni with his daughter, Mother Devahudi, and Shatarupa, his wife. Now, as soon as Kardama Muni saw, Swayambhu Manu approached and offered a seat, and they sat down peacefully. And then Kardama Muni invited and glorified Swayambhu Manu. And Kardama Muni mentioned in such a way that the duty of a Kshatriya, what is the position of Swayambhu Manu, and how he is completely beautifully performing his Kshatriya dharma, and how he is protecting everybody, and glorified Swayambhu Manu in such a way that that's where this chapter is beginning with. Swayambhu Manu is replying to Kardama Muni that Swayambhu Manu was so much glorifying in return to Kardama Muni that it is by the grace of the Lord that I am able to come in front of you, and I'm able to hear from you, which is great penance I did. Because of the great penance that I had, that's why I was able to come to you and hear from you. I'm very thankful for you. I'm very grateful for you. Oh, stages, or the topmost Uttama, about the Dija Greyam, that means the topmost of the Brahmanas. So Swayambhu Manu was saying that now I resolved all my doubts. I had a lot of doubts, and I resolved all my doubts. It's my great fortune, good fortune that I'm able to come here. And it is my great fortune that you instructed me. And so it was glorifying Kardamuni also in return. And this also reveals us that what is the right Vaishnava etiquette. Swambhuvan was saying that you are born from the heart of Brahmaji. And Brahmanas are especially born from the heart of Brahmaji. And also, the Brahmanas are also the mind of the Supreme Lord, and also manifested and representing the heads of the Supreme Lord, born out from the heart and the mind, the core of everything. So, like that, Kshatriyas are from the arms of the Supreme Lord, representing the arms of the Supreme Lord. So this is the way Swambhu Manu was glorifying Kardam Muni, and then finally, Swambhu Manu was revealed the purpose of his arrival, and mentioned that I have, even though I'm satisfied, even though I was so grateful for you and so blissful with your words and your association, but I have a small distraction in my mind, and I'm very so much affectionate to my daughter, and now she is at the age of getting married and looking for a suitable husband. So her brothers are Priyambada and Tanapat. They were the great kings. And here, that's where we reached up to this verse. Therefore, please accept her. So before that, Swambhu Manu was mentioning that she is very highly elevated in her characters and his qualities and good nature, appearance. So these are the various characteristics that a girl should have. It's not that, girl just grown up, but also at the same time, a girl should have the good character and good demeanor, good behavior, how to deal with everything, and intelligent. All those things must be there. And it's a duty of a parent to educate children like that way. So here, Swambhu Manu was now offering, and that's the verse today. Therefore, please accept her, O chief of the Brahmanas, for I offer her with the faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties. So, it's Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that a wife should be very much completely in assistance of her husband. So here it is mentioned that so it says that Atma Sarvatmana Anurupam. In this word, Sarvatmana Anurupam, and there are another word which is used as Griha Medeshu. Sarvatmana Anurupam. That means Devahudi is in all respect, in all fact, matches for you in her character, in her quality, in her behavior, and therefore please accept her. And she would be Grihamedishu Karmashu, means she would be great help for you in all your aspects of your household duties. She will help you. So, dear devotees, why, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is there is Amala Puran, which is there is no fault in this Bhagavad Puran, in this Bhagavatam, that these all are revealed because of this teaches us, this gives us that wonderful understanding that how one should be, see in his life, how one should act, and how one should take his life in serious way, that so that he can always situate in Krishna conscious life. So here in this, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that there are two aspects that we have to see. The Griha Medishu, Srila Prabhupada mentioning that there are two things. One is Griha Medi, another is called Grihastha Ashram. So ashram means that one spiritual order. And we know that Varna and Ashrama. Ashrama means spiritual order, and then Varna means social order. So it is very beautiful that we hear this very properly, that what is Grihamedi and what is Grihastha. Srila Prabhupada many times explains this, that Grihastha asrama is one should completely in relationship with the Supreme Lord, even though in the marriage life. That means even though with his family, with his children, with his wife, and so many other obligations and duties. But if he is in relationship with the Lord, he is a Grihastha. On the other hand, Grihamedi, he is indulged in all these kinds of sensual activities, and in his life he is self-centric, not the Krishna-centric. So many times Srila Prabhupada mentioned this is purport throughout this various chapters in this canto. Very beautifully mentioned. And one time Srila Prabhupada says that asrama means something in connection with God. That is called asrama. So Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that if one is in Krishna-centric, that is Grihastha asrama. In his life should be dovetail everything for the service of the Lord. He has to see that Krishna in his life. He has to understand that because of Krishna that he is engaged in this asrama. So he has to always, Krishna should be in the center of his life, and whatever the activities he performs, whatever he does, and everything in relationship with the Supreme. He will not go away from the Krishna's will and against the will of the Supreme Lord. So Srila Prabhupada says that there are two ways that people, Grihamedi and Grihastha. Grihastha always goes with the Nivritti Marg, and another is called Pravritti Marg. Pravritti Marg means the Grihamedi always focus his own interest, his family's interest, is selfish and self-centric, always act according to selfish nature. That leads to enviousness, that leads to jealousy, that leads to greed. And he always thinking about himself and how to satisfy his senses in all respect. So then he completely falls down and away from, and then they fall down in this pool of this material ocean. But on the other hand, a Grihastha, he has regulations in his life, he has rules in his life, he has Krishna in his life. So when Krishna and the Supreme Lord, and he completely engages himself with understanding that my purpose of my life is to engage in the Supreme Lord, remember the Supreme Lord, all this with different Navavidha Bhakti, so he can perform that, so that his life is completely purified. Otherwise, in the Grihamedi's life is completely, polluted. So here in the Grihastha's life, so he can completely purify his life by engaging very regulated his life in such a way that even though in his marriage life with his family or with his wife, he is utilize everything for the service of the Lord. So he regulates his life. Whatever he has, he brings and then offer to the Lord, and then they have this small altar maybe in the home. They utilize all his properties, all his everything, wealth, everything for the service of the Lord. He raised the children, and they also brings up the Krishna conscious children in their life, and that children also taught the scriptural various scriptures, and they engage also in the assisting in the service of the Lord. And the primary duty of a wife also in the assistance of the husband's spiritual activities. That's why it's called spiritual order. So everything is in spiritual, everything is Krishna conscious centric. So husband is in spiritual order, always engages in the service of the Lord, not wasting any life or any time. And the wife also in always helps the husband. So we know that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the house of Advaita Acharya, So all on a sudden, the mother Malini Devi immediately arranged everything properly, and Mother Malini Devi cooked everything so nicely and mentioned to Advaita Acharya, offer everything to the Supreme Lord. So the reason mentioned that because of the wife should be in great help in the husband in all respect to execute, to promote and propagate this Krishna conscious life. So we know that in so many instances, the various examples out there like that the wife is always in help propagating the Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, husband goes out to distribute books and the wife cooks for that, to give to the devotees. Instead of obstructing, okay, you are not with me or you are spending all the time outside and with the devotees. Rather, the wife thinks that is my purpose, my duty is to assist, serve my husband in all respect. So she helps her husband to cultivate Krishna consciousness in the home and in the children and the family and the society and the community. So this way, their life is completely situated in Grihastha. And it's also mentioned that the wives also get 50% of the punya or the credit or the transcendental credit automatically goes to wife when a wife completely serves her husband submissively. Similarly, in all respect, and it's mentioned that also a wife follows 7 generations with her husband in spiritual and all good deeds of the husband. The wife will also attain all the good deeds of her husband, what he does. So it's always good that in all respect that a wife should always support her husband, especially in Grihastha ashram. So that's an ideal life, ideal Krishna conscious life, or that's called the Grihastha. So it is mentioned that when a wife always in support, in assistance of her husband, and both together, that pleases the Lord. In other hand, when wife goes in one direction, husband goes in another direction, and it doesn't help. So that's why, and this is that's why, in all respect, that our culture, our sanskars are actually always looking that a proper match for a husband or a wife, so that they can situate in Krishna consciousness. We know that in olden days, people used to look for the horoscope when there is a proposal from a girl or a husband from a boy. The reason for that, so that at least some extent they can understand that what kind of match is it, what kind of life they can lead. The idea is that so that they can peacefully, happily live in Krishna conscious life, in a spiritual life. So usually there is a horoscope match, and when they look at it, there are basically 36 qualities. They look for 36 qualities based on their 9 group of matches. So one is called Varna. Varna, the matches based on the Varna. Varna means there is again Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So that means these are the quality. So it's mentioned that in this here that the quality of a husband, quality of that should match. Quality of a girl and a boy should match. When a quality of a Brahmana and then the woman is a Brahmana and the boy is also a Brahmana, is matches because of their nature and the quality, everything matches together. So like that, there is another called Gana in the matches. So according to the astrology, there is 3 Ganas. One is Deva Gana, another is called Manushya Gana, Manava Gana, another is called Rakshasa Gana or Asura Gana. So when they look at it, so this is based on the quality that a person shows or based on the birth chart. So according to the astrological chart, that astrologists can find out, can see that, what kind of Gana that a person took birth. either in the Devagana or Asuragana or Manishagana. It is mentioned that the Devagana and Rakshasagana, Asuragana should not match because of then basically the Gana is meant for to find that the ego and the aggressiveness of each personality. So a person who is in so much of ego, the false ego and so much of aggressiveness is depends on the degree of that. They considers that as a Rakshasagana or a Devagana. Devagana is peaceful and not so aggressive, and they are in real ego, and they always in a very peaceful and happy mood, and always try to understand scriptures and the good qualities. But on the other hand, as per the birth, you can find out this child is which gana, which category, whether it is Asura Gana or Devagana or Manava Manushya Gana. So Devagana and Manushya Gana can match because of it's similar to some qualities, but Devagana and Asura Gana cannot match because of there are it's opposite. The qualities, the characteristics are opposite. But Devagana or Manishigana also and Rakshasagana cannot match because of it doesn't help each other in their in their grihastha life. So like that also there is called Taragana, the Tara Paruta, or that's Tara March. That means there's the astrological the birth star, the positions of the birth stars. And there is Rashi Purta. Rashi Purta means the matches of Rashi means the planetary positions. So then another Gana is called Vaishya Purta. Vaishya Purta means also there are various in each category they have assigned us. They show some certain qualities of certain kinds of animals, and when a child take birth, it's find out that what kind of an animal is actually matches with this quality, what kind of a tree, what kind of the devas matches to that particular particular boy or a girl. So the reason for all this, so to identify that when there is a marriage, so that the marriage can be there is a proper match in their quality, in their characteristics, and their good behavior, and their complete life, so that that boy and girl can come together and get married. So their lives will be more appropriate, more situated, so that they can propagate the devotional aspect, devotional life in their grihastha ashram. So instead of otherwise, what happens? There can be a lot of problems and oppositions and egoist problems, and one does not listen to others, and leads to a very havoc, very hellish life. And in that life, everything is spoiled because of grihastha or getting married. That's one of the topmost of all these, other ashramas, because of it's the more children are coming, the generations are coming, the society is also based on the grihastha, and every other asrama depend upon this grihastha. So it's very important that one comes to that grihastha life and lead that life properly. So in order to do that, these are all there. But ultimate, as is mentioned that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharmastha Sakshat, Bhagavad Pranidam, all these are meant to or dovetail to lead a very Krishna conscious life. So here in this case of Mother Devahudi, the Swayambhu Manu was offering her daughter and mentioning that her character, behavior, good qualities matches with the Kardama Muni, so that they can have a wonderful Krishna conscious life. So dear devotees, so it's very, very important that we also cultivate this and understand this, the importance of Grihastha life, and put Krishna is in the center rather than Grihamedi, that rather than self-centric, but Krishna-centric life, so that we all can purify our existence and attain the Krishna conscious life. Thank you so much. With this note, I would end here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Simheshwar Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. We'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram.
Krishna.
Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Laladesha, Jai Padma Mukha Padma Bringa, Ravira Mahavira,
Kavira
Sarvata
Mahavishnu Jalandham Sarvatomukha Narsimham
Vishnu,
Vishwam
Bhishranam
Puram
Bhutram
Namaha, Nrsimha Bhagwan
Ki
ki,
Jai,
Bhad Maharaj
Ki
ki.
Jai.
We like to offer our humble obeisances to all the Samul Vaishnavas, Mancha Kalpata,
Kalpatarushya
Kripa Sindhavave
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavane Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.
Vaishnavinda ki
Ki
jai,
Jai,
Srimad Bhagavatam
Ki
ki,
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada
Ki
ki,
Jai.
Namaste, Hari Hari.
Hari 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 Bol.
Thank you, Simheshwar.
Thank you everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.